Hi, this is Kylie Coo. Welcome to my studio. In this video I'm going to be preparing some backgrounds that I can take with me when I'm away from home, backgrounds for my concertina journal. Now, if you saw my last video, I had to kind of leave home at short notice and I wasn't able to take any art supplies with me. The day I recorded this, I was back home for just a little while and I thought I'll quickly make up some backgrounds so that I can be working on my pages when I'm away. So what you'll see today is basically how I made 4 backgrounds, and you won't see the finished process though. As it turns out, these will be for weeks 12 to 15, week 15 actually being today being Sunday 14th April, and I was actually going to sit and show you how I worked on this week's page in more detail since, you know, I'm back at home for the most part. However, I decided that I would just show you making the backgrounds, and then hopefully this will go up by say Tuesday or Wednesday, and then hopefully Saturday or Sunday next week I'll be able to bring you week 16, but I'll also just talk you through, show you and talk you through what else I did to these pages. So all I'm doing here, I've got my little pieces of the paper that I'm using as a substrate. So these were from a paper pack, 12 by 12 paper pack that I just tore down in size. I've got some old textbook pages here. They don't look vintage. The book is probably 20 years old, maybe more, but the pages have still got that just kind of slightly off-white colour. But they're reasonably thick, and I didn't want to do too many layers when I was doing this because I wanted to get it done quite quickly. So I'm using gel matte medium. I put it onto my base layer, and then I've also put it onto the paper as well. And you'll see there I am just using my palette knife to try and make sure that everything's bonded together well. So I'll put that off to the side, and then I do the exact same. I take another page and I take those 2 other pieces of the substrate and I simply glue those in place. Once that's done, I give it a dry using my heat tool as best as possible. Gel matte medium can take a little while to dry, so I know that when I'm going to be working on them further, that is not going to be fully dry. At this point, I want to cut these out. I decide to start with my ruler. I should have torn off the other way around, so I was tearing the small bit of paper rather than the large bit. Because it wasn't fully stuck down, that happened. I've had that happen before. It's not a big issue though. So I then decide at this point I'm just going to cut round them with a pair of scissors. I like to tear because it gives a slightly I like the rough edge on it rather than that kind of smooth cut edge. But what you'll see is when I come to do the next side, I will actually tear it. So there I have one side done on each card, and all I'm going to do now is to repeat the process, and I will make sure the other side of the card is covered. Just while I show a little bit of that, I just want to say thanks to everyone that left kind wishes on my previous video when I said that I would have to be, you know, I'd likely be away for a little while, and thanks to everyone who has sent messages as well. I think I've replied to everyone now. You know, things are on a much more even keel just now. You know, things change or can change on a daily basis, so you know, we never know what later today or tomorrow's going to bring, but hopefully, you know, I'm getting back into a little bit more of a routine again, and I do hope to be back making videos on a regular basis. But as I say, you can just never tell with these things. But thanks to everyone. And just to say, if this is your first time here and you don't know what I'm on about in terms of this journal, then I will leave a link below and at the end to the playlist for this journal. Unfortunately, I just couldn't film any of this, the completion of these pages, when I was away, but that's not a problem. It's just one of those things, it's just life. So after I did that, I then tore those out, and this time you see I'm taking the kind of shorter side and tearing it away. It can be a bit difficult when it's a very thin strip, but it gives it a much more organic looking line, which I prefer to, a really straight edge. A little rough in places there, but that's okay, that's exactly what I like. So, of course, when I was away, I hadn't taken a lot of art supplies with me, but I decided that that wouldn't matter. I would use the little kind of art kit that I'd bought when I was away. I needed something to work with, and I'll actually be doing a fuller review of how that's working out. I was certainly glad to have it. I couldn't have carried a whole lot of supplies with me, or I didn't have time to look out a whole lot, so that was just grand. So there's my 4 pages, and what I decided to do now was, because the gel matte medium takes quite a while to dry and I wanted to get at least some more collaging done on these, I would just use the glue stick. This is a Pritt stick, and it's probably my favourite glue stick if I am using one. I usually tend away from glue sticks where I'm going to be using a lot of wet media on top. So I was taking a little bit of a risk, because I thought if I use a lot of ink and spray water etc. on top, these might lift, but I just knew that I could get the job done much quicker by using the glue sticks. So I've got some old dictionary pages there. It's a French to English and English to French dictionary, and I've also got just some scrap papers, tiny pieces of scrap paper that were lying about my desk. And you'll see here that although I say I was trying to, get this done quickly, I'm actually not rushing. I can see that now, that I'm not rushing it. This didn't take me terribly long. Gosh, not even half an hour, I don't think. I think the video is only about 15 minutes, so if you take the bits that I cut out, then it didn't, 25 minutes maybe. But it was 25 minutes that I thoroughly enjoyed, just sitting doing this. You'll see I move things about a little bit there. I'm really not trying to think too much about where I'm putting things, but sometimes it's difficult not to just think, would it look better there, and then move the bit of paper. So you'll see from time to time through this video that the sun kind of comes out a little bit, and this must have been one of the few days in the last 4 weeks where there was a little bit of sunshine. Today, Sunday, we have a mix of sunshine, rain, wind. The wind has also been a constant, really all winter and this early part of spring. So there you are. I'm just showing you that I've done all 4 cards on both sides now. I just decided on 4 because it was kind of the thing that best fitted in the screen. I could have probably done 6, but I thought, I'll probably be back again and could do some more if needs be. So here I'm using some Liquitex muted turquoise acrylic ink, and again Liquitex muted green acrylic ink. I decided to move away from some of the ink colours I've used more recently, especially the sepia. But I'll let you into a secret. When you see these cards next, which will be next week, I have actually introduced some sepia to it. I just felt when I was doing these I wanted something a bit different, something a bit brighter, but I think the next time I was back, I just decided, no, I want a little bit more added to it. I had already done some work on top of them, but I came back and did some more. So there, I just put a little bit of the ink down and I sprayed it with some water, and I've just taken some of those old book pages and just using those to kind of absorb some of the excess ink. It can leave a nice pattern on the page. You can see that little bit of collage there takes on a different look. I really like that. I never quite know if it will stay the same as I work my way through the process. So I just put down the blue there, and now I'm going to go for the green. I just decided I would have both colours on these. And I love playing with inks. Going back years and years and years, I painted in ink nearly exclusively. I went through different phases at different times using different materials, but ink was the thing that I did an awful lot of work with. I don't know why, I've always enjoyed ink. And I think the inks now, the acrylic inks now are just superb. There's so many different brands. I like the Liquitex, I like the Daler Rowney FW range, and some of the Dr. P.H. Martins are good as well. And I know from some of the comments or things that some of you have said in messages to me that a lot of you are also getting into using some of the inks, especially the kind of sepia, I think the indigo and the Payne's grey perhaps that I was using. I think those particular inks, depending on your style, I think they give a nice grungy look, and I wouldn't be without them. So there I was, just kind of letting the ink run about the page a little bit. It's another thing that I like to do, and again just lifting some of that with one of those pages. Those pages will become collage in future, and then just giving it a dry. And again, that's the way I tend to work. I'll sometimes dry a bit, I'll add a bit more. I'm having my cup of coffee while I do the drying, multitasking I guess, and really liking the way that they are looking. So of course I'll also need to do it on the other cards. I love that little bit of collage. I think putting the layer of ink on just helps to bring all those different pieces together. So just showing you there the 4 pieces, and here they are after I've put some ink onto them, and really liking the way they look. Some of those little collage pieces, even some of the original page there, looking great. Now I don't know what my thumbnail will be for this video. I forgot to take a photo at this stage, so I have taken a photo of this week's page, but not when it's completed, when it's just a little bit further on. So the thumbnail will look slightly different to what's here. So I hope you've enjoyed this process of me creating 4 backgrounds for my concertina journal. It just so happens that it worked out that way, that got me through those 4 weeks. And as I say, hopefully next week I'll be back to doing a full page, a full process for you. So thanks ever so much for watching. Do take care. Bye for now.